I just wanted to open things up to see if there were any questions regarding what I've talked about or anything family related that regarding family feuding of sorts, whether it's couples or families, kids, whatever. More than welcome to bring those up. And that's where you get to put me on the hot seat and I get to bring up my creativity and see what comes out. So,
Yeah. So what are some of the ways or things that you can look out for to identify the different types that you have in your home in terms of the different categories you stated, like, I don't know if I should call it attributes or differences in the way we fight.
Yeah, no, great question. Observation is definitely going to help. The good news is if they're an infant, you don't have to worry about that because they don't talk back. However, as far as your partner goes, depending on how long you've been married, I have been, as Paulus was saying earlier, I've been married for 21 years now. I know what style when we are in something, whether I'm in a pursuant mode or if I am maybe in a processing mode, okay? Or in this case, a presenter mode that I need to shift from pursuer to presenter, or if I'm running and now need to actually go process, okay? As far as kids as well, that's just part of that observation, asking questions, observing your kids, finding out their styles. Not always, but a general good rule of thumb. A lot of people are familiar with the terms introvert or extrovert. A lot of introverts do tend to be more on the processor side. A lot of extroverts, not always, but can be very much in that pursuant side. Certain temperaments will also, so if a person tends to be very forward in thought in how they speak and how they talk, they always have ideas. They're always like, hey, we need to deal with this now. That will definitely be a good clue as to whether an individual or not is in the area of being probably a pursuer. But if they're like, I don't want to deal with this, I can't deal with this, oh, I don't want to do, chances are those are pretty good signs that there might be this might be a person who needs to learn how to healthily process. All right. And then come back and deal with that situation, one or two things at a time. So that way they're not overwhelmed. Does that kind of answer your question?
Definitely does. The husband and wife one, it's the kids one I was interested in. So yeah, you did nail it, hang on. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. You are welcome. Yeah. And I will add, if you can recognize your partner's style, you can also ask your kids. I mean, it's one of those things. Ask them, hey, do you think you're a person who likes to deal with it now, or do you like to wait maybe a day or a week before you deal with something? There's some good hints, or depending on how they answer, what they feel like. Oh, I don't really want to answer that right now. They're a processor. All right. Well, I think that we need to deal with stuff now. It drives me crazy when they're pursuing, and now they get to be redirected. As the parent, you can help them to be a presenter now. Okay.
I just have a question. Is it possible that someone can change, probably like a child, change from being like a presenter to a processor, maybe after some years, or it's like once you have a particular attribute, you're kind of cast into like that attribute, and then it's like for your lifetime?
Yeah, good question. I'm never one to pigeonhole someone. I remember back in my 20s, I remember taking some personality tests and stuff. And I was like one of the earlier ones that was way back in the 80s and 90s that was very popular amongst the church, for example, was Tim LaHaye's material. And he kind of had these concepts. It was a 4-quadrant based personality question. You'd have what's called like a sanguine personality. They were like the party animals. You'd have the, choleric, they're very attackative. You'd have the, what was the other ones? Phlegmatic. There may be more of the quiet style. And then there was what was that fourth one? That was the melancholy was the other one. The melancholy, the moody, the artist, you know. And I remember very clearly, I was very much I always tended to answer within the melancholy attributes of personality. Jump 10, 15 years later, okay, so now I'm in my 30s, 35 kind of area. And you know, I was completely in the choleric part, like clear choleric. And I was like, what is going on here? Hey, it's just differences, right? I'm sure if I were to take it now, I might even have something different. I'm at a point in my life, I probably, depending on what the topic is, am very much a presenter. I have to learn to present because I pursue like a dog in a bone. And so sometimes I have to back off and give space. But there are other things I've recognized in my life I don't want to deal with. I hate dealing with it. I don't like it. You deal with it, dear. And that's where I recognized I'm being a runner. Nope, I need to process it, set some ground rules, come back and deal with it, even though I don't want to. All right. So there will be elements where you'll see both. Okay. Kind of like that introvert extrovert concept is a good example. I am probably more introvert. But a lot of people sometimes think, oh, he's an extrovert. No, I'm not sure. What is it? Well, I am more introvert, but I've learned to jump over into the realm of extrovert. And that title in the last couple of years has been given the term ambivert. So I'm very much ambivert, but more on the spectrum of introvert. Now, a raging introvert, no, they are pure processor for the most part. Okay. But again, temperament has everything too. You know, some people can be introverts, but be very much, this is how we're going to do it. I got to do it. And those are where we enter different personality type tests. Of which probably one of the better ones that I've liked recently is Mark Gungor's flag page. I know I was using the flag page. I would use that quite often with couples and have some fun, work things through, but it allows you to see those temperaments and those differences, but also then appreciate those differences and know where to approach and how to approach, especially when the feud happens.
So I have a question here that has been put. If your partner is normally a pursuer or presenter in most feuds, and then in a particular feud turns to a runner, is it an issue or something to be worried about in the feud?
I would actually say that is an awesome lead in to probably what I generally go into next, round 2, which is understanding a concept called triangulation. You can go online. I even have some stuff on my website you can take a look at. And it's called triangulation. The guy's name is Cartman, but with a K. All right. So if you spell Cartman, you can phonetically spell it out. Other names of it, it's called the drama triangle. And I'll tell you, if it's one thing we North Americans love is our drama. We love our drama. Drama. There's a reason why reality TV has unfortunately, has gone on for over 20 years now. It is, and so triangulation is a great next step in understanding the dynamics of where, we can go from pursuer to then all of a sudden, okay, I need to process this, or vice versa. So it's more about the area when you understand triangulation. We can all in milliseconds go to all these different areas, okay? And with that, if we are aware of what's happening, then we know how to deal with it. And if the partner needs the process, then if they were pursuing, well, then what are those ground rules going to be discussed? Can those ground rules be discussed? And when is that person who is in pursuant mode now processing mode? When are they going to process and then come back? What is that agreed upon time between both you and your partner? So that way you guys aren't left hanging on eggshells. And yes, to clarify, you can have pursuer, which means both need to then present. Or you can have runner. Well, you'll never get anything done, but it does mean then that you have to both process healthfully and then come back and deal with it. Okay. So all sorts of things. We don't want to just, you know, like I say before, similar to a kin's question, you know, we don't want to just pigeonhole, oh, you're that, you know, they're generalities, but they at least are beginning steps to help recognize where we are coming from and where maybe our partner or family members are coming from in order for us to be able to then look at healthy ways and how to fight fair.
So yeah, I thank you. I like that whole concept of identifying which part you fit in, and laying the ground rules. So I think my understanding is when you're fighting with your spouse, I think it can be easier to do that because you're both adults. Do you have any tips for dealing with a child, or specifically a teenager, that doesn't seem to be willing to engage in any way, but just keeps running?
Yeah, and that's, of course, welcome to the teenage years. Welcome to yet another session of family table talk for probably down the road. And very good question. No easy answers, obviously, just with the time we have. But if they are a processor, then that's a good thing to at least recognize, because now that discussion can go, hey, I'm just curious. I'm wondering if when mom or dad talks, is there a sense of feeling overwhelmed or anxiety, or what's happening? Just, you know, are you feeling overwhelmed? You know, and maybe part of that is also looking at the style of parenting that maybe you're doing. And within that, you're able to then go, oh, that's right. I gave him like 5. You got to get the laundry. You got to get the garbage. You got to this. By the way, that's 3 fingers pointing back at me. I'm horrible at that. You can all watch my wife's expression as she's like, yep. You know, oh, she's so generous and kind. Look at that. But, you know, I'm terrible for that, you know. 2 things. That's when I'm in pursuant mode, right? And I got to present, hey, can I get the garbage done? And maybe in about an hour or 2, let's get those dishes out. But you decide. And that's part of those options. Now, that's different than maybe the child raising aspect of things if they're like 12 and under, because that's more oftentimes about issues of safety and developing them in the way that, you know, we want them to grow, you know. And so within that parenting style, that's going to be a little bit different topic versus the teenager, where there is some expectations, but we're also shifting that for them to be independent or interdependent. So this way, yes, they still need mom and dad's roof over their home and food and stuff, but it's teaching those things that they can start learning independence, you know, so that way they can do that. And that means also developing relationship with them, not just this is what you do or whatever. It's now developing relationship. Otherwise, when you're past that 14 plus age and you're maybe, let's say you happen to be more of a, let's say, authoritarian style of parent, that is where I will politely say out loud, good luck, because that relationship is going to be destroyed faster than you can say, you need to do this. Well, good luck. That's going to be very difficult. Now, if they are running away, though, that's, of course, part of the challenge, of course, and especially with today's, well, even this last year with COVID, if no one was addicted to tablets and TV and YouTube, oh my, I don't know what else is, you know, I mean, this is going to be a year where there's going to be a shift in all of this stimulation and just easy fix kind of just unhealthy coping of just watching, binging on Netflix, watching YouTube cat videos all day. You know, they are in a healthy context, okay, but unhealthily, especially for the processor, that's some of the unhealthy processing I was talking about, rather than intentional processing, where maybe going out for a walk, those kind of things.
And I want to just say again, thank you and God bless you. May you have a wonderful, wonderful night. And as you process all of these things, you know, where do I fit into this? How do I deal with my grandkids? I got so many questions. How do I deal with my grandkids? That's another subject. When they start fighting, do I get involved or do I send them home? Big questions. So
very good questions.
We really appreciate it, and God bless you. And thank you for your participation tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.